I am so tired of being single. It's been basically 3 years, and at this point, I truly feel like I don't even remember what being in a relationship feels like, and I know that sounds so dramatic, but I am so used to being by myself that I, like, can't even imagine having, like, a person that is just always there. And every time I complain about being single, "Are you on the apps?" "Yeah, I'm on the apps," and it's a hellscape. I truly am in a relationship with it where I just go on it, feel hopeless, and just like I give up and then I delete it. And then I get so desperate to at least try to find the idea of someone that I re download it. I'm literally 30 years old and I'm getting swiped right on by men that are either of my age or older that have intimacy without commitment as their relationship preference. I genuinely feel hopeless and I don't really care how pathetic that sounds. I give up. I haven't been looking. Everyone says, "Well, you shouldn't look." I haven't been looking at all. I took a break from dating for a reason. And now I'm just stuck in a drought, it seems, and I am feeling really just lost. I don't know what to do anymore and I hate this generation.
I have a question for the men. I feel like men are no longer interested in dating. They gave up on dating. They're not even trying. Why do you think that is? Let me know your answer in the comments.
Never ever be with a man that has ever used escorts, sugar babies, massage parlors, any of those things. Never do it to yourself, girls. I promise you'll regret it. Even if you are
I love when people ask me about percentages and statistics like I went out and collected mathematical data. However, I would say it's loneliness, I would say it's multiple things, but loneliness is definitely the main driver. And what you'll find is that there's a lot of men that take women on dates, pay a small amount of money, like £25 for a meal for a woman, and then expect immediate the reciprocity being sexual, and that's not how it works. You're basically at that point expecting a woman to give you her divine body for £25. Insulting. If you were going to go on a date where that's sole intention, don't even bother. At that point, I kind of commended the men that just skipped that part and just paid for the hooker, because at least then they knew what they were getting for with the money that they were spending and there was no other expectations.
The thing that broke the dating economy wasn't men running out of money. It was men finally calculating what they were actually buying. They added up the dinners, the gifts, the wasted weekends, the silent treatments, and one of them, somewhere, just did the math out loud. Then the rest of them heard him.
So I tried to date a lady, and sheesh. I understand why dudes be getting escorts, because wow, I thought we were going to do some things, but now here we are crying, talking about our moon rising or whatever. Anyway, shout out to her. I hope all is well. I left my wig at her house, and in my opinion, she was taking a long time to return it. So I went to go get it, and when I got it, she had it on. And she looked cuter in it than me. And I was like, give me back. But then, so here's the thing she said about one of her exes. She can eat a mean ass. And I was like, oh, hell no. You're not going to ever say some shit about that. Like, about that. You got me stuttering. Oh, no, no, no.
You know what's so crazy to me about dudes flying to Colombia and DR and all these other countries, you know what I'm saying, just to, pay for some, you know what I mean? There's no shame anymore. Like, men are being very open, very transparent about this. Like, I remember, like, it was very taboo. Like, no one would admit to it. Now it's like dudes are planning, like, group trips publicly. Like, they're just telling people, yeah, I'm going to Colombia. And it's like, you just know. Like, when they tell you, like, oh, who you going with? Like, no, your friend. No, I'm going by myself. It's like, okay, message. Got it. It's just crazy to me how, like, it just is, like, normal now. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no shame at all. Like, it blows my mind.
What about the psychology of the men who pay for it?
The psychology of the man that actually goes towards it is usually he's somebody who's highly avoidant to begin with. There was some emotional disconnect in their parents in their household. So when you want to court a beautiful woman in the real world, she requires some emotional connection first and foremost, or at least at some point. Now, if you find it hard to experience emotional connection and you have the money to go from pornography to escorts, you skip the emotional component and go straight to escorts. Escorts are porn addicts.
The number that gets thrown around in the calm version of this conversation is around $15,000. That's roughly what the average guy spends per year trying to date in a major city. $15,000. For an experience that, more often than not, ends with him sitting alone in his apartment scrolling apps at 1 a.m.
And I'm gonna be so fucking for real. The reason why women refuse to go on a date with a man unless he pays or he's paying a bill is because women understand that relationships are transactional, especially now. Women are waking up to the fact that, we were taught that we were gonna grow up and date someone for love and marry somebody for love. But we're realizing that men don't do that. Men date and marry women that are convenient. Men date and marry women for the easy access to our bodies. Realistically, all men use us for sex, even ones we're in relationships with. If you didn't have the ability to give a man sex, they wouldn't be dating you. That's why a lot of men, most men, leave their wives when they get sick. Now, what's the difference between you using me for my body and me in return using you for your money? Because realistically, you can make your money back. I have one body, motherfucker. That's also why I would never do sex work and why I don't think it's worth it to date a man even if he was rich, because I don't think my body is worth your money. I'm gonna make my own fucking money. God bless the sex workers that do that. I'm never going to do that because I know my body is worth more than your ugly ass money. But for the women that still want to date men, they understand that the only true value of that at the end of the day and in return, they can have money. Women didn't want relationships to be transactional like this. We grew up wanting to date and marry for love. We grew up wanting to have genuine connection with men. And we're realizing that a lot of that just isn't it's just not really possible anymore. It's not realistic for us. We're understanding that best case scenario, it's a business decision. Best case scenario, a marriage is a business decision. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you can marry for love, but it also should be a business decision on top of that, at the very least. And I think it's just extremely ironic and insane that the finger is now being pointed to women. And we're making relationships so transactional. We're ruining dating because women refuse to date a man if he can't pay for things. That is quite literally the bare minimum. I saw this amazing quote here the other day, and it was like, the female bird doesn't mate with the fucking male bird if he cannot fucking perform correctly. Like, that's it. That is it. That is natural selection, bitch. A lot of men should not be marrying and should not be procreating because they don't have the fucking brain capacity. They don't have the funds. They're not hot enough. Too bad. This is natural selection. Women should not be procreating with a lot of these men.
We keep talking about male loneliness epidemic, but what we don't examine is who will be their next victims. As women become more liberated, access to us becomes conditional. It requires emotional regulation. It requires thoughtful communication, accountability, and respect for boundaries. Most men won't reach that expectation. Most men won't even pay for a dinner. They want intimacy without negotiation. Instead of men adapting or even growing, they choose systems that won't challenge them. AI doesn't have needs. It doesn't even ask for anything. It won't withdraw when you treat it poorly. The porn doesn't require active consent. The actresses won't tell you to stop. This switch isn't due to lack of options, about avoiding the work required to be in a relationship with a conscious, self-respecting woman. When access to women requires a certain level of respect, men will choose to opt out. They will choose outlets that won't ask anything of them.
And it's not just escorts, it's the whole spectrum. Massage therapists, AI girlfriends, rent-a-friend apps, even some of these new platonic touch services in cities. Men are paying for clearly defined transactions because clearly defined is exactly what dating stopped being.
As a woman, if you are single and you're dating men, You should never feel guilty for holding out on physical intimacy. If a guy starts making you feel guilty, like you've been together 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, I don't care what your personal boundary is, he should respect it. In the minute you get a sense that this guy is getting impatient with you, major problem. If this guy doesn't think that you're worth waiting, like whatever your boundaries are, his main goal is to sleep with you. He will get bored of you when he gets that, because that's what he wants from you. Secondly, think about the bigger picture. Say you marry this guy, say you have kids with him, or you grow old with him. If he didn't have self-control to wait for what was comfortable to you, he will not be okay waiting if you have babies and you have to wait 6 weeks or whatever it is. Like, you say you get injured, say that you get really, really sick. These are real things that happen, right? If he feels entitled, like, oh, well, I'm not getting my needs met, he's not going to be faithful. So seeing that a guy is pressuring you in the dating relationship to move faster physically than you want to, take that as a huge blessing to know he is not the guy for you. I find that to be a major red flag and a huge problem. And also, just the point of a man pressuring you to hurry it up to sleep with him, that is so unattractive. That in itself is so concerning. I honestly think that's so unattractive. For me, that would be a deal breaker.
Therapy hit the men's market hard. Online therapy especially. A guy can book a session for $150, talk for an hour, get genuine help, and walk away with no obligations. No anniversary to remember. No mother-in-law to please. Compare that to a year of relationship maintenance and the spreadsheet just laughs.
It's easy to start feeling bitter and jaded towards men after having negative experiences, but I'm trying to be as open-minded and open-hearted as I can dating-wise. There are good men out there. I am not a man-hater. I know a lot of really great men. The next guy that you date didn't do the things that the last guy did to you. Be careful, protect yourself, but try to be open. As hard as it is, try not to bring the baggage from the past relationships into the new ones.
Men save money when we're single, and women save money when they're in a relationship. And by saving money, I mean they save money on bills and life responsibilities, but they spend more money on themselves.
Such budget hunters. These same men will take on $1,200 monthly truck payments. You make a very good point that all women really need to understand. Now, this is referring to men, why they will pay for a date, basically, so that they can insert enough coins into the vending machine of schmegs, because it's cheaper than hiring a schmegs worker. All they really want is schmegs, but taking her to Applebee's is cheaper than hiring someone. You have to look at how men are spending their money. And it's so true. Men will spend, they have no budget, actually, when it comes to a car. $1,200 a month truck, a car that costs 6 figures. They will spend. But at the same time, they don't want to pay for a date. They will spend on their car, but what's their wife driving? Oh, your wife with 2 kids. Did you buy her a new car? No? Oh, okay. All right, she doesn't need one. But you did. You needed all the bells and whistles. You will spend all of that money on this car and spend all of this time making sure that it's clean and perfect and shiny, but also not provide anything as far as financial resources or security and stability for your family, because you want to go 50-50. See, the thing is this, I've said it before, and this is a hill I will die on. A man's first love is his money, and where he spends that money is the biggest and best indicator of the other things that he values. He values his truck, he values his stuff, especially if it's flashy, especially if it's really special. If he's not spending the money on his kids, he doesn't really value the kids. He's complaining about child support. Okay, what's that tell you? If he's not spending the money and kicking out a little extra for the wife, he doesn't value her. It's very simple.
Peace has a market price now. That's the part nobody saw coming. 5 years ago, peace was something you tried to find in a relationship. Today, it's a line item on a budget. Gym membership, therapist, maid service, streaming subscriptions. All paid for, all delivered, all without anyone testing his patience at 11 p.m.
Do guys expect sex or other forms of payment for taking a girl out on a date, paying for dinner, drinks, what have you, typical courting things, especially if it was your idea to take the girl out on a date or for drinks? I encountered this recently. Now, this wasn't said to me per se, but the actions of this gentleman definitely read that I guess he expected some sort of payment from me in the form of affection or sex or something like that. Now, I went into this saying, as friends, on a friend vibe. I did not say on a romantic vibe. Could I have changed my mind? Yes, but I definitely wanted to set the tone for the meeting, the dinner, the drinks, whatever. First time we went out, he seemed totally fine with it. We went out again, and mind you, I have a good time with someone, whether it's a romantic vibe or a friend vibe. Like, I'll chill with you for hours, yap away. I don't use someone for food and then leave. Like, I will let it go as long as I can stay awake. I love talking to people, whether it's romantic or not. Like, I just love to hear people's stories. And so at the end of the night, hug goodbye, same as the night before. I went into my house and I was like, yo, I have a feeling. He didn't do anything. He didn't try anything. I definitely would have shut it down. Just wasn't the vibe that I was feeling. And I think I was giving that. But typically a guy will text you when they get home and say, hey, I got home. Typically they'll say, hey, had a great time or whatever, right? Or inquire about how the person's feeling, romantic vibes or not. And I didn't hear anything. So I was like, okay, let's see. Next morning, didn't get the typical morning text, didn't hear anything. And we had a date planned for like another day or two. So I just let this man be in his feels or whatever it is. I'm like, okay, like whatever. And he messages me and he tells me, like, really, I'm not really sure why he felt the need to send this text without any other information around it, but it was giving that he was tight, that I didn't try to make out with him or initiate any sexual type of stuff. He was basically like, hey, I had a great time with you the time that we spent together, but I'm gonna go do my own thing. I will never contact you again. Have a great life. That's not word for word, but it was pretty much very similar. So I'm just looking at this like, okay, like, I don't know what you want me to do with this. Like, this make you feel better about saying this? I don't know. But it definitely read like you were butthurt that nothing happened. And I think that's like really immature. Like, if you expect something to happen, you want to know if there's like a vibe, or you expect some type of transaction when you take a woman out, like, say it up front. Because I mean, that's not the way I operate. It's not like sex for food, sex for drinks. Like, if I have sex with you, it's because I want to have sex with you. You could take me, to a super fancy restaurant, or we could grab some takeout. Like, if I'm gonna crack, I'm gonna crack. So I just thought it was funny. I wanted to share. I wondered if anyone else had a similar experience as a woman.
The brutal thing is this: every single function a girlfriend used to provide can now be bought separately, and usually for less. Cooking? DoorDash. Cleaning? Hire someone Tuesday and Friday. Sex? Various options. Conversation? Friends, therapy, or AI. The girlfriend role got unbundled, and the pieces are cheaper apart.
After reading all the comments from men on my last reel, I don't feel so bad about being single, because I'd rather be single than with someone that thinks that way, so it's okay. But at the same time, it makes me think a lot, because I don't know. I've never had a boyfriend, guys. So for me to even think that after a first date, what they expect is for me to sleep with them is just... what? Like I've waited so long. I'm 27. I've never had a boyfriend. I've never been in a relationship. I've never been with anybody. I have barely kissed a man at my age. What do you mean after a third date, they expect for me to sleep with them? Now I'm actually afraid. Now I'm actually scared because what do you mean? And I don't know, maybe I also have like fear of intimacy, but like, would you blame me? I've never been with a man. And it's a little embarrassing when I say it because of course I know that a lot of people have done multiple things when they're in high school and in college, but I didn't go to college. I went to high school here in the US, but it was my last year. I was actually bullied in here. And I didn't have those experiences. So I'm 27 and I've never been in love. I'm single. I can't even imagine having a third date and like meeting someone for like literally hours. Like I think for that to happen, I need to feel comfortable with someone. I need to feel some type of connection with someone. I need to know this person, you know, more than 6 hours. And I don't know, it feels like too impossible now that I think about it. It's just like in this time, like in this year and like 2026, that some guys even commented in there, it's 2026. You need to like realize that not everyone is like you and like people have grown up and like stuff like that. And when I think about it, it's like, okay, they're kind of right in some things, but now I find it like, am I gonna be single forever?
I was seeing a guy recently who ultimately decided he no longer wanted to continue seeing each other. So let's talk about it and all the things that I've learned. You can't force someone to want to try things with you. And it doesn't say anything bad about them. I have so much respect for him and his decision. And in fact, it makes me respect him more that he made a decision for things to not continue, because it just means we're both not going to waste our time. But anyways, if they don't want to pursue it, you cannot force that. And nor should you have to. You also really got to listen to your nervous system and your intuition. I'm definitely the kind of person who will keep trying and keep fighting, but you gotta know when it's time to quit it, because you deserve to feel peace and the right person's gonna make you feel calm. And yeah, I'm really bummed it didn't work out. I really liked him, and who knows, maybe one day, but at least right now, it was not working. And I think at the end of the day, sometimes liking someone isn't enough. You need to have certain things aligned to actually be the right people for each other. But yeah, ultimately getting broken up with kind of sucks. It's all part of the journey though. You gotta trust the universe. The right things are gonna come at the right time.
What sits underneath all of these crying videos is a simple, ugly realization. The product she was offering, companionship with its conditions, got beaten by a series of cheaper, simpler, lower drama alternatives. Markets don't reward sentiment, they reward value, and the value proposition just got priced out.
I always get asked by women in the context of decentering men, how do you deal with a longing for like intimacy? Don't you still need to date because you crave intimacy and like attention or something? What does that have to do with men, literally? Are men famous for being really good at emotional intimacy? Why would you seek emotional intimacy from men? Why would you think that you are missing out on intimacy by not giving men the priority spot in your life? Why do you think centering men equals a life full of intimacy? I would argue that centering men leads to a life of sadness and emptiness and abuse. Like, let's put our thinking caps on. I'm not saying that there are things that can replace like true, healthy, romantic intimacy, but actually your ability to create that and to identify that and to nurture that improves when you learn to generate emotional intimacy and safety within yourself. Being able to hold space for your feelings, whether they are positive, negative, desirable, or undesirable, and being able to self-soothe is a skill that everybody needs to learn eventually. Even if you have a partner that can help you do that, one day that partner might not be there anymore. One day that partner might be busy when you're crashing out. So at the end of the day, learning how to self-soothe is always going to be something that you need to learn to do for yourself. No relationship, man or woman, parent, friend, or partner is going to be able to supplement that. Why would you ever equate emotional intimacy with straight men? Hello? You know, most of the time when women are experiencing emotional intimacy with men, it's literally just a self-projection. The man is just a mirror. The man is just there, and you've just been programmed to only create emotional intimacy in a romantic context. But the man's just there, okay? Or maybe you're physically intimate with them, and then the chemical release that you experience creates the illusion of emotional intimacy when no communication about feelings has been had. No safe space outside of your inner world has been created with this man that even closely resembles true emotional intimacy. Like, you are under a spell. Free yourself! Get a journal, get some friends, get a hobby. Find a way to express yourself and contribute value outside of romantic context and outside of I'm just getting paid to do this. Your life will change, and the role that men play in your life and the priority level that you assign them will also change, okay? But you need to change first. Be the change, I beg.
Peace has a price tag now, and the price tag is lower than dating. That's not cruelty. That's a man finally reading his own bank statements with clear eyes. Buy the peace, build the life. Let everyone else figure out why their offers stopped getting accepted.
Subscribe to Alpha Reloaded for more. Drop your thoughts in the comments and hit that like button on your way out. See you next time.